Why don't you talk about that family member anymore? Stole our grandpa's identity, his dad, and ruined him financially. Then, when his brother died, tried stealing money from his sister, my mom, and conning his way into things that didn't belong to him. When my mom passed, he asked for her SSN, told me it was for an old insurance policy their brother, referenced above, worth like $400. I told him I wanted more info, looked into it, and it was $76K that he was trying to claim entirely for himself instead of me and my sibling getting my mom's share. Freak that guy. Edit, it's my uncle. His dad didn't want him to go to prison, so nothing came of the identity theft. My uncle did this to my mom. My grandma had about $3K in life insurance, but he insisted for years we took all her money. Her life insurance didn't even cover funeral costs, and my mom had the receipts to prove it, but it didn't matter. Called my mom a lot of horrific things and publicly tried to call her out multiple times. He's dying now from the abuse he's put his body through over the years, so my mom has a soft spot for him, but seriously, freak that guy. He wants me to come visit, and I'm just like, oh, the guy that made a horrible moment in our lives exponentially worse for years wants to see me because he's faced with the consequences of his actions and upset no one wants to stand by his hospital bed? Nope. When at my sister's funeral, they told me I had no reason to cry because I wasn't really family because I was adopted. I was adopted within my own family. We were still biologically related.
My sister. She stole approximately $30,000 from my dad and $10,000 from my mom. She got credit cards in my dad's name, too. He eventually had to file bankruptcy. The money she stole from my mom was all her savings that she desperately needed when she was leading an abusive relationship. My parents were far from good parents, but they didn't deserve to have their financial life completely destroyed. I wish those were her only crimes. She was evil from as long as I can remember. She emotionally abused me and put me down for as long as I can remember. I was a sensitive kid, so I sadly believed everything she said. She tried to steal my friends and boyfriends. She ruined my clothes. She put me in unsafe and mature situations that took years of therapy to heal from. Her theft, manipulation, selfishness, and narcissism took so much away from me. There was no money for a first car, college, etc. After she took what she wanted, my dad was a shell of a person, so he couldn't process how hard her actions had been on me, too. I lost all my protectors. I was alone. There's so much more I could share. I sometimes can't believe I experienced what I did because it's so bleak. I stopped all communication with her about 10 years ago, and my life has positively changed as a result. I know she still tries to get friends and family to not like me because I've heard stories. I don't care what she does, and I don't care what anyone thinks. I know the truth and the trauma, and I'm just happy to be free of her. My wife's mom. Among other things, she attempted to burn down my house whilst her daughter and grandson were inside. She's a piece of crap who's going to die bitter and alone, and that's just fine by all of her kids. She'd always been a nasty piece of work. A horrible narcissistic woman. Only ever looked out for herself. Especially in years gone by whilst she raised her kids. Although her kids defo raised themselves, and they did a cracking job of it. On the event in question, she came round our house late one night unannounced and drunk. I was away that night, and probably a good job I was too, because I would have actually killed her. She wanted to see her grandson. My wife refused and left her on the doorstep. A row occurred, and my wire essentially told the MIL exactly what her kids thought of her, and that she should leave. Instead of leaving, she started pushing lit paper from the recycling bin through the letterbox. We had a lucky escape. She managed to really shovel a lot of fuel onto the fire before my wife noticed a burning smell. If the coats hanging in the hallway had caught, it could have easily been a different story. The really sad thing is my son lost a grandma that night. We won't/can't have anything to do with her anymore. Mentally ill or not. It doesn't matter when someone brings such horrors to your life. I'm a white guy from Indiana who fell in love and married a Hispanic woman from Arizona. Went back to Indiana for my grandmother's funeral when my stepbrother wanted to tell racist jokes to my wife to break the ice and lighten the mood at the wake.
I just recently disowned a family member and their kids. They're the type that reaches out only when they want something. The type that will send a Christmas list with hundreds of dollars worth of items on it, and then not give a single thing in return. They'll tell you they can't afford rent, and then plan a vacation. They'll ask for help with the light bill and then show up with new tattoos. They can't even be bothered to make the tiniest effort of sending a Merry Christmas text or saying Happy Birthday on Facebook. And his kids soaked all that up and magnified it, and now they're all insufferable. I made excuses for them, coddled them, defended them to my parents, pushed for them to be included more in family things, and for what? The only thing that will be gone from my life from them not being in it is resentment.
I supported my 46-year-old son all his adult life. Through raising 2 of his children. I was spending too much money and I was going broke myself. When he wanted to move in with his girlfriend, I said no more and that they had to stand up for themselves. Of course, I was a freaking brat and I haven't seen or heard from him for over a year. He hasn't even checked on his kids. Not birthdays or Christmas.
If you made it to this point in the video, consider subscribing. It really helps out. If you like this video, leave a like. Want to say something? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching and have a splendid day.